Gonna need 6 more cups of coffee.
Oh, man.
Get the word!
Hey everybody, did you miss us? Hello, welcome back to Bid Nerds. Look at this, it's your daily nerd out on the most interesting cars of the day on all the automotive enthusiast auction sites like Bring a Trailer, Cars and Bids, P-Car Market, and Rad For Sale. Look who is back in studio in his place in San Francisco. This is not vacation Deeb, this is back to work Deeb. Look at that.
Yeah, snapback.
Look at that. He is here in the house. Of course, my name is John Polnik. I'm here in Las Vegas on the fabulous Las Vegas Strip. It has been, we had kind of a long weekend. You were doing some traveling, coming back from, I don't know, the Caymans or something like that, where you hide all your money to buy all the Porsches. Did you buy a Singer from P-Car Market?
I'm going to. They got another one for sale. They got another one for sale.
Man,
yeah, it's crazy.
It's like they failed to sell one. Why not fail to sell another or another? I don't get that. Fail to sell. Let's sell. If you have a Singer for sale, why the hell would you go to P-Car Market when they fail to sell it every time and then sick a bunch of used car salespeople after people who want to buy them? Unbelievable. Anyways, that's a whole other story.
It is crazy. It is absolutely crazy.
Well, there is a lot of crazy out in the market, and we're definitely going to be talking about some of that crazy, including that 2009-96 cab this weekend that went for bonkers money. What the heck is going on? We will get to that in a little bit. Before we get to the show, make sure you check out Guys Customs Bracelets. Deeb, do you have your Guys Customs bracelet on today?
No, I'm naked. I'm absolutely naked.
Oh, no watch, no Guys Custom.
I hope Guys Custom doesn't drop me as a spokesmodel for not wearing one today. But I actually wore a Guys Custom every night we went out in St. Thomas. I brought one with me on the trip. It's really cool. It's got a fishing lure clasp, and I wore that one, Lava Rocks. It was beautiful. I rocked it the whole time I was in the Caribbean, I promise.
These bracelets are handmade by a local artist here in Las Vegas. She makes them to paint to sample to your car or paint to sample to your watch. It's crazy. Every one is custom. She's been selling them, kind of underground. The only way to get one of these is if you know her. But now they're available. The only way to get one is to go on Instagram and DM her. She doesn't have she doesn't have a web page. There's no Shopify. There's none of that junk. You have to basically reach out to her on the Instagram page and DM her and tell her what you want, and she'll make you something custom. It's Guys _custom. Hold on, let me get the name out. It's GYX. That's how you pronounce Guys. GYX _ customs. Guys _ customs on the Instagram. Go ahead.
I heard Patootie could hook you up.
Patootie might be able to hook you up. That's
Patootie knows Guys Customs, so I heard Patootie could hook you up.
Yeah. So check out Guys Customs right now, since they're a big supporter of the show. All right, so let's get to some cars. So what we do, if you've never watched the show, which you're crazy if you haven't watched the show. So many people haven't watched the show. People need to know about the Bid Nerd Show, so spread the word. If you're out there and you're a fan of the show and you've been watching, you watch every day, one, thank you. Two, get on the, go on to BAT, go on to Cars and Bids, go on to P-Car Market, go on to Rad For Sale, and in the comment section, when we talk about a car, tell everyone else that we talked about that car in the comment section on those auction sites. That really helps us out a lot. It's crazy.
Yeah, light them up. Let them know that we have selected that car and that they should check it out because we're going to blow that car up that day.
If you watch this show, you're a nerd just like us, and there are other nerds out there that need to know. So let's help spread the word. Hit that subscribe, like, and notification button if you haven't already, and share the show today. Yeah. Last week, so we haven't done a show. We skipped Friday because you were traveling. The last cars that we talked about was Thursday of last week. And again, for fans of the show, you know that we always start the show by going over our predictions from the previous show, which is pretty embarrassing usually for us because we make our predictions as to what we think the cars will sell for, and then we basically show all of you out there in internet land How wrong we always are. We don't know what we're doing. We've been doing this for a while, and we still have not figured it out, especially right now because we are living in bizarro land. God. Last week's big car of the day was that 1975 Porsche 911 Carrera MFI, and what a beautiful car it was. But, woo.
What a price this car brought too. It's unbelievable. JP, so the 75 Euro Carrera is like unobtainium in the US. This was a car that maintained the 1973 2.7 Carrera RS drivetrain on what was the brand new platform 1974 Carrera with the MFI. How do you say it? The G body with the accordion bumpers. The new. It's basically the new platform. Yep. So in the U.S., because of tighter emissions laws, the United States got a car with CIS fuel injection, low compression pistons, and a pretty weak cam, if I'm not mistaken. And so our cars made about 165 horsepower at best, and they were not really fast. We did have a real Carrera body in that it wasn't a slab side. The front wheels were narrower than the rear wheels, and the rear arches are flared to accommodate the wider rear wheels. All of this was to produce a sportier, better handling car. But it was sort of, and also ran in the United States because our car didn't make that much power. The Euro Carrera, however, got this incredible motor, the motor that's in probably the most iconic Porsche road car of all time. So anyways, these cars are bringing big money, and the gray market ones that are here in the United States continue to set records. This one was no exception. Offered out of, I think, Southern California. This beautiful orange car looked to be in really outstanding condition, and we thought it might go to the moon. JP, I said $250,000. And without blinking, you said you thought this was going to have a really strong finish and that the market was high, and you were right on the money. You said $300,000, and our car sold on BAT last Thursday, the 3rd of June, for $321,911. And I would say that's a high water mark for the first time in about 4 years, maybe 5 years. The height of the market was 2015, 2016. And I don't think we've seen a car bring 300 grand since then. So this is definitely a high watermark. This is going to bring values up, and it's going to bring other Euro Carreras to the market. So I suspect that this result will allow us to see more of these cars in the marketplace moving forward. Something to watch out for.
Wow, that's just incredible. I mean, it really is a beautiful car. I mean, duh, right? I mean, it's just that. Yeah. What shade of orange is that? Is there a specific orange?
Oh, I don't know.
I
don't know.
That is just the hottest looking 911. I mean, I kind of like this better than most RSs that I've seen. But whatever. I mean, it's a $300,000 car. It better be beautiful. And driving one of these is just as great as they look. I mean, they really do drive amazingly. And I hope whoever bought it drives it. What else did we talk about last Thursday? Can we remember? Do we have the recall machine? Can we?
We don't. We have a 1992. Also, I'm bringing a trailer. We had a 1992 Mercedes-Benz 500E that was in Las Vegas. JP, this was smoke silver. You and I would call it champagne, but Mercedes calls it smoke silver. Our car had, I think, like 67,000 original miles. It was in Las Vegas. It was in really nice condition, but this is not the most desirable colorway. And I still thought, even if this car doesn't bring 60 or 65, it should bring over 50. So I said $56,000. You took the under at $50,000. And yet our car sold at only $35,500. I don't think that's a weakening of the brand, of the model. I just think it was this particular car being in an unusual colorway with a wing spoiler on the back. I mean, I really don't know how to explain it. I still think these cars are trending upwards, and the person who bought this car did really, really well for themselves. At $35,000, JP, I wish I bought this car. So anyway, there you go.
Yeah, I mean,
$50,000.
Have you seen one sell for $50,000 yet? I mean, I know these are crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but most of them have well over 100,000 miles. So you see them trade for 45 grand. But this car only had 60-something thousand miles on it, JP. This should have been a $50,000-$60,000 car. So this buyer did really well for himself.
Yeah, color matters. Champagne is pretty tough to be. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
An enthusiast car in Champagne, that's a tough sell. Tough sell. At least.
And I think that's it. Yeah, and I think that's where it was. So, anyways.
All right.
I also straddled you guys with a 2003 Volkswagen Eurovan GLS, JP.
Sure.
I just thought this car is kind of neat. I know it's not. Well, you got the wrong one.
Whatever. What?
Okay, let's do the Audi.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about the Audi. Sorry.
Yeah,
2003.
Yeah, 2003 Audi S6 Avant from that dealer in Fairview, Pennsylvania, or whatever he's got. This car had 135,000 miles on it. Really nice car. The S6 was Audi's first sport road wagon. It's not the all-road that's meant to go off-road. This is your on-road, back-road, freeway bombardier, with the Avant being the wagon platform for Audi. Normally aspirated V8. There's a lot to like here. I've owned one, and despite it being a terrible car from a reliability standpoint, it was still an outstanding driving car, which is probably Audi's Achilles in the long run anyways. So I said 9,500. JP, you said 6,500. I got this one because the car sold on Cars and Bids for $10,400 in that beautiful black colorway with the brushed aluminum mirrors. What do you got up next?
Still more interested in that SVX that was in the background. Let's see here. We also talked about was it so that S2000
the Eurovan
was pretty. No, let's go to the S2000. I don't have
S2000. Yeah, our 2001 Honda S2000 on Bring a Trailer. JP, if I remember correctly, this is a 3,300 mile example of an AP1. And on top of that, I think for 1 year they did this black dash, but with red seats and red door inserts. In 2002, they did a completely red interior, carpets, door handles, steering wheel, everything. Jeff Harley, friend of the Bid Nerds, has a completely red interior S2000. But this one in 01 has the black dash and black everything, just red seats. And so I think this is a really nice car. I said 40 grand. You took the over at 50, and the car sold for $43,500. Means I beat you by just $1,500.
Wow.
And our last car, great result. I still think that car is going to go up in value. That's a car. As much as I love to drive everything that you buy, that's a car you could put away, and it could become a pretty expensive car one day down the road.
Yeah, it'd be a shame to put that thing away, though. That S2000, we just fell in love with it while we were looking at it. Because S2000 is a little bit of a dime a dozen. There's a lot of them, but boy, when you see one that nice,
that's stock.
I really,
Nice pictures, too. That guy did a good job.
Yeah.
And then the last car, also on Cars and Bids, was the 2003 Volkswagen Eurovan GLS. This is not a weekender. It's not a whatever you call it, Westphalia. Mm-hmm. This is just a car with a fold-down rear seat and a trailer hitch. Front-wheel drive, automatic. There's not a lot going on here. I said 10 grand. JP, you took the under at 9. I don't know that our car got another bid. It sold for $7,300. JP, you got 3 wins to my 2. You got 3 wins on Tuesday. You got 3 wins on Monday. You won the week. Yeah, whatever. You won the
whatever. This last couple of weeks has been pretty wonky. We had the premiere of our new TV show, Porsche Road Trip, on the Chassis Network, available on Pluto. You can binge watch that whole first season. So we had the premiere for that. So that kind of disrupted things. Deeb was out there on vacation. So who's keeping track of wins at this point? We had Lane Skelton. Thanks a lot again, Lane, for picking up some slack over. Yeah, he came in a couple of days and helped out. So that was great. But yeah, so that was the cars from yesterday. What we do on this show is we nerd it. We pick the most interesting cars from all these different auction sites. There's so many cars for sale every single day. It's hard to, how do you know what the most interesting cars are? You got to sift through hundreds of cars. That's too much. We do that for you, and we tell you what the most interesting cars of the day are. And now that Bring a Trailer is selling cars over the weekend, there's the most interesting cars of the weekend too. So we thought we'd start this Monday off with what might be the most bonkers result I've seen for any car on any of these sites ever. Yeah. This is the dumbest thing I think. So if you just happen across this channel, you probably saw the thumbnail. That's just a picture of this car and a big WTF. I mean, what the F is going on here with this car, Michael Deeb? What the heck?
Okay, so first of all, we have to start by thanking Buddha, our friend Buddha in Las Vegas, Clemson Tigers #1 fan, Mike Myers, who is a 996 owner and advocate, unapologetic 996 advocate, by the way. He has gone through 2 IMS bearings on his car and still loves that thing. That is commitment. He brought this result to our attention because we did not pick this car over the weekend, and he wanted to make sure that we saw it, and we had not. So, Mike Myers, thank you for bringing this to our attention. But what we're looking at, JP, on Saturday, Bring a Trailer closed an auction platform for a 2000 Porsche 911 Carrera C2 Cabriolet with a 6-speed manual and just 42,000 miles on the odometer out of Akron, Ohio. So what's the big deal? It's a 4-owner car. The seller, has not done the IMS bearing. This is a .1 of the 996. No big deal. It's a $25,000 convertible with an ugly beige interior. So where should that car go? Well, if it's on Bring a Trailer and if it was on this last Saturday, this car sold for $52,000. JP, that's twice as much money as the car is worth. And there is nothing in the ad to suggest it's worth even $30,000, let alone $52,000. I just want to read a couple of things to you. Again, remember, this is a 4-owner car with aftermarket wheels. In the notes, not in the ad itself, in the notes, the seller comes on in the comment section and says, oh, the other noteworthy thing, which may be asked at some point, the IMS has not been changed. The car hasn't needed a clutch, so I didn't bother going for the IMS change yet. Figured I would do that when the clutch needed to happen. A few things led me not to stress about it. It's fairly early production car, falls outside of the VIN range for the old class action suit, and such a low incident rate on 996.1 cars. End of quote. So,
wow, I did not see that part.
And then 3 guys bid it up to like 40 grand. And as soon as one of the guys dropped out, these other 2 guys bid it up to $52,000, where the second of the 2 guys acquiesced. 39 bids. JP, I would have put 25 grand on this car and all the money in the world. If this were, I don't know, paint to sample on full black with sports seats and stock wheels and an IMS bearing, all the money in the world would suggest that this had been a $33,000 or $34,000 car. And that would have been like way lower miles. Yeah. But this result, I've read it. I cannot figure it out. It doesn't make any sense to me. So Mike Myers, thank you for bringing it to our attention. JP, you know 996 business better than I do. What the hell is going on here?
This makes no sense. The boot has to be full of crack. Those are heavy, ugly wheels. That is the worst color combination imaginable on
ocean blue. Yeah.
I mean, this blue with the all tan interior. I mean, look at this interior. Who wants to be there? Nobody wants to be in that. That is just like so great. Look, I love Porsches and I even like 996s, but this is just... Oh, my God. The idea that the IMS is out of range of IMS failure, that couldn't be more demonstrably wrong.
Right?
I mean, it's just like, what? And then the fact, I don't know what's more stupid. The fact that the owner of this car said that, or the fact that enough people out there on BAT bought that hunk of crap, just said, yeah, all right, I'll drink that. I'll go ahead and accept. That's just... What are you guys doing? $52,000. Look, you can still, look, cabs are always less expensive than coupes. That's a good thing if you like cabs because you can get more car for less money. Auto Kennel Dave always tells us that. And if you've got 50 grand to spend, you could get a 997S for 50 grand if you're good enough. If you're gonna accept a cab, this is just. I mean, 996's .2s are really great, but the 3.4 has all kinds of issues. It's not enough power. The 996 just did not have its S together in the first gen, and this one clearly isn't good looking enough to make it okay. This is just the dumbest result I think I've seen yet, and oh my God, we're going to get flooded with every .1996 now.
Oh my goodness, this is
you could get an SC for this, right? I mean, it used to be you get one of these because you couldn't afford an air-cooled car. Now it's like, oh my God.
It's weird. Like I said, there were 3 guys bidding on this car up to $42,000, and then one dropped off, and 2 other guys bid it up another 10 grand. Oh man, lucky consigner. I can't believe he got $52,000 for this car. If he would have taken it, what do we always say? Drop it to CarMax and see what they would give you. They would have offered him $17,000 for this car.
Yeah,
18 would have been all the money. I mean, come on. He retailed it himself online on the weekend for $52,000. I'm sorry, JP. This result changes everything. Experts are redundant at this point. There's just no point to it.
I mean, this guy needs to be on his way to Las Vegas right now, and he needs to play some slots because this guy
seriously
won big. He just unloaded a dog pile of a car. I mean, and you know what? Actually, you know, we're S-ing all over this poor 996, and if it were $25,000, it'd be a great car. This is typically a car that you suggest to someone. Okay, you want your first Porsche? Go get one of these. As bad as the IMS problem is, it's usually not that big a risk when you're only dropping. You know, we're talking some of these. Usually, you can find these with 78,000 miles in the teens. You know, high 20s, or not even high 20s, but high teens. So this would be the car. Yeah, go get one of these cars. It's about 300 horsepower. It's still a 911. The engine's in the back. It does all those wonderful Porsche things. It's a great way to get into the sport and become part of the community. But I would definitely not recommend start with one of these if they're going to be dropping $50,000. For $50,000, you could get a lot more car.
Unbelievable.
Frick, man. Wow. Okay. Well, let's get off this because that's just that's a bad taste in my mouth.
Crazy result.
We've got some cars coming up today that I think are pretty interesting to talk about. So let's talk about some of those. Let's start. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I was going to say Doug DeMiro, but you tell me where you want to begin. Sorry, JP.
Honestly, well, the Doug DeMiro car is a horrible car, so I don't really want to start with that. Let's start with something good. Let's start with this. We've got a weird lineup this morning. This is a Monday. Let's look at this M1. It's a BMW M Roadster.
Okay,
What a great car. This is just a really good car.
I really like the color of this car, JP. I can honestly say I'm not really familiar with this steel gray on this generation of car, but offered out of San Rafael, California, which is just up the road from me here, is a 2001 BMW M Roadster. Now, an 01 means you're going to get the S54, which is the 3.2-liter inline-six with individual throttle bodies per cylinder, making a whopping 320-something horsepower, 315 horsepower, I think it is, JP. This car is an absolute rocket ship. Our car has just 61,000 miles on the odometer and appears to be bone stock and offered and presented in this original and unusual colorway. I also don't recall seeing very often a hardtop, which this car clearly has. I think it's pretty neat. I don't know that I'd ever put it on my car if I owned it, but I think it's kind of neat that it's included in the sale. I don't think that the cars came with a hardtop, JP. Is that correct?
Oh, no, I mean, they didn't automatically come. You had to order.
Yeah, it would have been an option. You would have ordered options. So it's kind of neat that the car has it. But beautiful all-black interior, 5-speed manual, limited slip differential, HK sound. There's a lot to like here. This is a very nice example in driving condition that appears to be being offered at a bargain basement price. JP, with 5 hours yet to go, our car is sitting at just $16,000. Is it the miles that's holding it back at 65,000 miles? As I've become a bid nerd, 61,000 miles doesn't scare me anymore. I don't think this car's all used up. I think this car's just broken in. So this, we've seen a few nice ones, especially S54s that have been pushing 40 grand. This car looks like it might not even push 20. Where are we at?
Yeah, that is weird. Are you sure about that engine on this year? I thought it was the next, but I could be totally wrong. Is the ad saying it's got the S54?
Absolutely everywhere.
Okay, okay. Well, then that's that's such a great engine. This is such a fun car. I think it's gonna keep going. I mean, what platform is this? We're on VAT.
VAT.
Right? Yeah. So I mean, it'll get a late stage rally. That is a really unique color. I've never seen that color on one of these before, so that's kind of cool.
That color's hot.
Yeah. I still prefer, the Z4 M Roadster if I'm getting one of these because it seems like the prices are about the same. You don't really see a big price difference, or at least we haven't so far. This might be where things start to change. I have seen the Z4 M Roadsters starting to creep up pretty significantly on the price in some of the classifieds out there. Yeah. So, I mean, this car, though, geez. I mean, with that hardtop, again, I don't really like that hardtop either, but it is a great option to have if you're in inclement weather or something like that, or an area where you want to drive this thing all the time. No problem with having that hardtop there.
In Seattle, if you were living in Seattle, JP, and this was your car with the hardtop, would you fit it in the winter? Just know that you're probably not going to get a chance to put the top down, so it just makes sense to have the top on.
Yeah. And I know people that had these up there and absolutely did. It's just a goofy. I mean, these cars are goofy looking. There's no way around it. And with that weird hardtop, that when they put it on top of there, it just makes it even more goofy. It doesn't have that clown shoe shooting brake thing like the M Coupe. So it kind of has that weird notch back to it. But whatever, who cares? It's functional. It does the trick. It gives you a little bit more headroom in there and makes it nice and cozy when the weather's inclement. But when it's not and you have the top down, this is just like a fantastic, absolutely wonderful driving sports car with the top down. You have all that air. I mean, it's just such a great time. This is definitely something that you want to drive down the coast or whatever. It's kind of like that S2000.
Oh my God.
I mean, with a heck of a lot more torque.
Way more torque, way more power too. I mean,
and at 60,000 miles, this thing's just getting broken in. I mean, these are really, really reliable engines. And just does it mention anything about the subframe? There are Z3 subframe problems on these.
This one has, I think, JP, let me read it to you.
Yeah.
He did an aftermarket thing to the subframe.
Yeah, that's pretty common. That's what most people do. It looks like it's got some, a little bit of front wear on it, but that's not uncommon for a sports car that's this low. I mean, if it's had all those things taken care of, this car should be well into the 20s. Where do you think it's going to land?
So I put 25,000, but I agree. I think this car is in for a late stage, and I want to protect the over. I don't want you to take the over and steal it from me. So I put 25 grand, but I'm going to protect myself and say 26. I think this car is going to do well. That color is just too good looking.
It really is. I'll take your original bid and go for 25. How's that?
All right, we'll see. I'm going to shoot myself in the foot one way or the other here.
Yeah, I think it's a Monday, right? So all the bids are going to come in late today because everyone's just kind of sluggish like we are, and they're going, I don't know, maybe I'll buy a car today, and they'll get their second cup of coffee, and they'll be like, all right, fine, I'm doing it.
Yeah,
it's nice out. Let's get a convertible. All right,
JP. You want to look at the Volkswagen, the 2001 Volkswagen Cabrio?
Call it, man.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to hold my hand through this process and coach me. This is a 2001 Volkswagen Cabrio GLX, which is 88,000 original miles out of West Chester, Pennsylvania. JP, that is a Mark III Volkswagen. Is that right?
That is correct.
Cool. It's a 2-liter inline 4 that doesn't make any horsepower with a 4-speed automatic driving the front wheels.
Is it? Yeah, it is an inline 4. Sorry,
Usually,
I'm sorry. I'm having a little bit of a Monday brain fart. Usually, when I think of a inline, I usually think of longitudinal versus horizontal. So just brain fart. Yeah, absolutely inline 4 for sure.
I suppose in the back of my Rolodex of useless trivia, I was comparing it to a Lancia that has a V4.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. This is definitely a horizontally opposed inline 4 front wheel drive car, not a V4. Yeah. Oh man. Boy. It is Monday here, guys.
Horizontally opposed would be awesome. That would be like a 356 or a Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Inline 4. The cylinders are all standing next to each other like a bunch of sardines. It's a no reserve auction. It's black on black on black, and it even has aluminum wheels. Somebody tinted the front headlights, which I don't think helps the look of this car. But man, why is it that we don't see Mark III Volkswagens on the road anymore? This is, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being nostalgia, but I love looking at this car. It reminds me of a great time in my life when I was, just a young kid, and these were awesome cars. And I don't know, whatever. I think I dated a girl that had one. But anyway, there you go. I acquiesce. This is a great little car. That's going to be a great little value. It's weird that Volkswagens have not, we haven't found a platform that has really promoted or done well with the Volkswagen brand. And for a lot of us car enthusiasts, there is just a tins of magic in some of these older Volkswagens that we don't see in their current lineup of cars. I don't know. I really hope this one goes to the moon, but it's not poised to do so. JP, with under 2 hours to go, our little Volkswagen Cabrio is sitting at a lowly $4,600. I mean, if I had a kid going to high school, this would be a great car to put him in. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
What do you think, man? This is basically stock. It just has a stereo change. It's sitting there under 100,000 miles. There's a lot to like in this car.
The reason why you don't see a lot of Mark III Volkswagens on the roads is because they were pieces of junk. Volkswagen really was in a dark time during this era. The Mark III was not a good car. It just was plagued with electronic problems. The automatic transmissions had lots of trouble. This one in particular is one of the nicer ones I've ever seen, and it really does look good in all black like this.
Right.
But, they really kind of got their S together with the Mark IV, and, the Mark III wasn't around really that long. Usually Volkswagen kind of sticks with a model for quite a while, and the Mark III they just kind of realized people didn't really like him, but they had a great ad campaign back then for the Mark IIIs. This is the beginning of the da. Ad. Remember when they had the guys in the GTI? They picked up the couch on the side of the road, or the chair or whatever. They had a wonderful ad for this particular model that I always love. I should have brought it up, but it was basically just one of these driving around in the dark with people in the car looking up at the sky, and it was just music, and
awesome.
and it was they were watching the moon and stuff like that, and it really did capture the convertible feel in a way that I hadn't seen any other automotive company really kind of capture that.
Quick question for you, JP.
Yeah, go ahead.
Quick question about this. JP, is it fair to say that this Volkswagen Cabrio was not built in Germany, but rather from a plant either in Brazil or Mexico? Is that an accurate statement?
I don't know the answer to that, to be honest. I mean, that's likely. Yeah.
99% sure that's correct. If this were a Cabrio Wolfsburg, it would have been built in Germany. Yeah. But if it's lacking the Wolfsburg, then it was built either in Mexico or Brazil.
Probably Mexico.
And despite being German engineering, it didn't have German assembly, and that's part of the reason, or
this
part of the
one seems like a really high trim level, so it would have surprised me.
GLX, fully loaded, alloy wheels, the whole thing.
I think the other problem with Volkswagen is just like you said. It's like they've lost their way. They've had that huge scandal. Their current lineup is just Snoresville. There's nothing Volkswagen makes that anybody really wants. So usually for people to kind of like follow, like there are a lot of BMW enthusiasts, a lot of Ford enthusiasts. You're into a Mustang, you can afford a cheap Mustang when you're young. You get older, you get a really nice new Mustang or something, or the one you always wanted. Volkswagens, there's none of that. There's like no like, oh, okay, I've got a cool old one that I made cool because I'm a young person and I couldn't afford something expensive. And now when you get older, you go and graduate into something new that Volkswagen did. Everybody just says, all right, once they can afford something better than a Volkswagen, they get that and they don't ever go back. And I think that's Volkswagen's toast, man. They're in so much trouble from a brand. I mean, they're competing with Hyundai now. Not an enthusiast car. Hyundai's
Hyundai's got their act together.
Yeah, exactly.
100,000 mile warranty. I mean, how do you compete with that?
Well, Volkswagen has the same deal. They have that 10-year, or they have a like lifetime. I mean, they've got some crazy warranties that they're trying to do. Volkswagen's trying to get with that kind of thing. They've got their electric car, the ID4, which great, whatever, that'll sell, but it doesn't
bring the bus.
Yeah, I mean,
bring the bus, an electric bus.
That's an electric CRV. They are bringing the electric bus. That is happening. So,
bring
anyways, this car actually, if it's cheap, would be a great car as a runaround. I think you're absolutely right. This would be a terrific high schooler type car because it's not super fast, not going to get them in a lot of trouble, but it's still going to handle well. It's still going to be a nice, fun convertible top. Where do you think this car is going to land?
So JP, I'm betting with my heart on this one. I'm going to say $8,000. There's nothing to support that it's going to get there. But what's it going to take for a Volkswagen to do well on this platform? This car is really clean, for what it is and for how old it is. So I'm hoping that it makes $8,000. But
where's it
I'm
at
not
now?
confident.
Where's it at now?
$4,600, 88,000 miles out of Pennsylvania. It's got 16 bids, and it's a no reserve auction. So no matter what, it's going to sell today. So I'm hoping that this car finds another $3,400.
$6,400.
Okay, 6,400. Good job.
That's my bid. That's my bid. I mean, it's just a used car. It's a nice one, though. I mean, you're right. It's about as nice as they come for a Mark III. Mark IIIs have been cheap for a long time. Most of them have been used. My cousin has one of these, and she loves it. All right.
If this alloy wheel had the 5-lug instead of the 4-lug, it'd be really cool to buy this car and put some 18-inch like original R32 wheels on there, or the anniversary GTI wheels. Those multi-spoke wheels would look really good on this car.
You could get an adapter for that, I'm sure.
Is that right?
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
All right, let's see here. So where are we going next? Where's memory lane going right here? We got some weird old cars.
Rad for sale, or do you want to go to?
Let's go Rad for Sale. Let's talk about our friends at Rad for Sale. Because that last car that we're talking about is such a dog pile. How's that for a tease? That no one's going to stick around by the time. They're done. They're done with this.
The scab known as Lane Skelton, who crossed the picket line and took my seat while I was away, has his own auction site, by the way, called Rad for Sale. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Brought to you by Lane and his buddies that do Radwood and Driving While Awesome. They have located or identified a 1990 Honda Civic 3-door hatchback out of Middletown, Connecticut, with 144,000 miles on it. What you're looking at is a 2-door, 4-seat hatchback with a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, 4-speed automatic, front-wheel drive, with like the cheapest trim level there could possibly. This is slick roof, no sunroof, no alloy wheels. Those are steel wheels painted silver. Even the bumpers aren't even painted to color match to the car. This is the car you saw, people who were paying off student loans and had their first job. This is the car that they drove to get to work while they paid off their loans, and had to pay rent for the first time in their life. Very interesting car, distinctly from an era. This car has very good service history to it, and by all accounts is very, very clean with a clean Carfax. So if you missed the car that you had when you were 20 years old, here's your opportunity to buy it again. Outside of that little scenario, I don't know who would buy this car. At 144,000 miles, it's not to suggest that it's all used up, but it's not a brand new car either. So, JP, this is a car that could only bring more than $2,000 if it were on Rad for Sale. And oh, by the way, this car is at $2,100 on Rad for Sale. 3.5 hours to go out of Connecticut. What do you think, JP?
Yeah, I mean, it's not an exciting car, but it is probably one of the best cars ever made. My friend, when I was in my 20s, I had a very good buddy who bought one of these with about the same amount of miles. Now, his was a sedan, but whatever, same main thing.
Same platform.
Yeah, same platform. And, I believe he still has it to this day. I mean, it's God. Like he just drives and drives and drives it. So, it sucks to be a car enthusiast, because when you're a car enthusiast, you will spend ridiculous amounts of money on cool cars, and usually cool cars depreciate horribly. I wish I was like my buddy Blue, who didn't have this burning desire for fun cars, because I can't imagine how much money, if I had taken all the money that I've spent on cars over the last 25, 30 years and just set it aside and put it in a dang CD. I'd probably
put it into Apple stock.
Right. Anything. Just the lowest yield, crappiest savings account. I would still be, exponentially further ahead than I would be. I mean, and he's just driving the same car because it always works. It does a job and he doesn't care. Man, I wish it did it for me. This would be the perfect kid car for like a high schooler if it were. Unfortunately, this era didn't have an airbag, and so they're not dangerous by any means. They're actually pretty safe cars. They're built in a modern era. They have crumple zones and stuff like that. But really, if you're putting your kid in something, put them in something modern with an airbag, because they're probably going to crash it, and airbags work.
In period, this car did not have to compete on the road with SUVs, and so it is grossly undermatched in a collision. No matter how safe it was back in period, it wouldn't equate to that level of security, by today's standards, just because of how much more weight there is on the road around you in today's traffic. But built to an incredible, exacting, and reliable standard. I know plenty of people that rocked Hondas when I was a kid. And man, I agree with you, JP. If you and I could reprogram our brain that a car was just a widget, you could do a lot worse than this Honda Civic. But to you guys like you and I, cars are infinitely more than just a mode of transportation to get from point A to point B without having to walk or feed a horse. They are so much more than that. And then you look at a car like this and you kind of laugh at it. But I remember these fondly.
They really are nice to drive. They're just really great cars to be around, and they're easy to see out of, lots of visibility. The Honda aerodynamics of that era were just absolutely perfect. The cars weighed nothing and felt like it, so even though they didn't have a lot of power, they were zippy. Even with an automatic, this is kind of a fun car to just zip around in, and all that space in the back. I mean, geez.
Is it fair to say, JP, in your opinion, that the Honda Civic is the car that defined Honda's success in the United States, despite the Accord selling so well? Wasn't it the Civic that they sold?
Yeah, the CVCC, the first one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, there's just so many, if this were a manual, I mean, you could trick this out and make it cool. And the thing is, even with it being an automatic, they're very easy to do manual swaps. So, and that's why these get stolen so much, by the way. If you get this, make sure you get your, what are those, the lock that you put on the steering wheel? What are those called?
Yeah. I don't know. That's so funny.
I mean, because this car, if you leave it out, someone's going to rip it off. Every component on this car is swappable to something else.
Wasn't there, I don't know if it was a myth or if it was true, but wasn't there just like 8 different key patterns for all the Honda Civics like on the road in like a 10-year period?
It probably seemed crazy like that, given that how often they got stolen. These and Camrys
all
are like the most stolen cars ever. Where's this one going to land on our friends for Rad For Sale?
Well, like I said, JP, and I'll stand by this, only Rad For Sale could bring ridiculous money for this car. Again, all the money in the world for this would be $2,000. Our car's sitting at $2,100, and it's got 3 or 4 hours to go. Let me read it to you one more time, JP. It's 3 hours and 19 minutes out of Middletown, Connecticut. So do consider that you're going to have to bring this car home. But I wouldn't be surprised, JP, if Rad For Sale got $4,500 for this car. So I'm going to leave my bid there.
Does the AC work on this car? Does it even have AC?
Oh, my God. Good question.
Because that's the big thing. If this car has AC, this car would be a great car. If it doesn't have AC, I don't want to spend any time in there. What was your bid? You said $4,500?
$4,500. Yeah. I'm saying it's going to double in the last hour.
I'll go 4,000. I'm gonna.
All right.
Yeah, I think one of us is gonna be pretty close on that one.
Yeah.
All right, so let's finish it off with the biggest turd, maybe the worst car, other than that fake Ferrari on P-Car Market. P-Car Market still wins for the best fail, even though they sold that stupid thing. This car,
look at this beauty.
Oof. Now everybody knows I'm a Cabrio guy, but even I would turn my nose up at this.
Oh my God, JP, you've become a prude in your old age. Look at this beauty. All right, what we're looking at is a 1984 Pontiac Fiero that has a custom open roof conversion. Our car is offered with just 68,000 original miles on the odometer out of Warwick, New York. And the platform that they used is an automatic. So this car is not a driver. Despite having a 2.5-liter inline-4, it doesn't even make 100 horsepower. It's rear-wheel drive mid-engine, but they chopped the roof out of it and made the convertible that, by all accounts, Pontiac should have made. The lines on the Fiero are not hard on the eye. It's an easy car to look at and be like, oh, that's attractive, until you realize it's just built like a pile of junk, and they were never really fast. But the lines that are on this car lend themselves well to an open top conversion. And so I thought this car was hilarious. It's black with a gray velour interior. They grafted on some ugly rear wing and then put oversized gold alloy wheels on the car. And like I said, the donor car should have been a stick. But Doug DeMiro is about the only guy I could think of that would allow a car like this onto his site. And so with 3 hours and 16 minutes to go, our one-off convertible conversion Fiero is sitting at $4,000 on a whopping 13 bids. So, JP, tell us why we should hate this car. Oh, pop-up headlights. Look at that. Pop-up headlights.
I think these are V4s, man. I think our inline versus
for packaging, to make it handle better.
Man, it'd be awesome to pull this engine out there and pull an engine from a VFR motorcycle and wedge it in there, and you'd have something.
Absolutely.
There's a reason why Ferrari knockoffs usually are done on this platform. You're right about the Fiero. I actually have always loved the Fiero look in general. I actually, in the 80s, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Ferris Bueller's sister had one. She rips into the driveway, and it was like, oh man, that's a good looking car. And they don't live up to the looks. They are absolutely as horrible as you describe. Everything's going to creak and rattle. The door handles are going to fall off. Like,
the worst.
Things will literally, it's like that cartoon, the cartoonish idea of a car where you grab the door handle and it all of a sudden it's in your hand, right? That will happen to you with this car.
Flashback when last time you and I were in Death Valley together, didn't something come off the back of your convertible
That's
at
true.
120 miles an hour?
Exactly. And this car wouldn't ever be able to get up to 120 miles an hour because if it did, everything would fly off of this thing.
Absolutely.
And as terrible as these cars are, without that roof, this has got to be like the worst open shoebox
my God.
kind of twisty chassis thing. So it's fine that it's an automatic. Buy that Volkswagen cab instead of this thing. This is
totally.
How much is this going for? Where is it at already?
I don't know. It's at $4,000 with 3 hours to go. Yeah, $4,000 out of Warwick, Pennsylvania. And I put $6,500. I think I was high last night when I did my numbers.
Were you on pain meds or something like that? Or
I don't know.
Take a geez.
I don't know. I had a really nice dinner. I think I was in a good mood.
Yeah, he had some extra
$6,500. I'm going to take $500 off my bid, JP. I'm not going to completely bail on it, but I'll say $6,000 is all the money here, and I don't expect it to get there.
You're saying it's at $4 what right now?
It's at 4, I think, just 4, right?
I'll go
4,000 even.
I think it gets another bid, and everyone's just laughing at this thing. This is just the dumbest car you could possibly own. I wish we were still doing the Rami show because this is a car that we would buy to blow up. We took the smart car out in the desert and shot it up and blew it up, and someone stole it. This would be a great car to just leave with the keys on the side of the road and say, someone take it.
How's Rami doing? I haven't seen him in forever. How's our buddy?
He's doing great. We'll get him on the show, maybe even this week.
We missed him. We missed him at the premiere. I know he's been really busy. He's got family stuff, but anyway, God dang, it's been too long.
Yeah.
I need some Rami in my life.
Yeah. That sounds weird. I'll let you say that to him directly when you see him next. He's going to be very excited to see you. All right, guys. Well, there it is. That is the most interesting cars of the day. It's a Monday. And that's the kind of interesting cars. What a crappy, horrible list of cars that we had today. I got to say, this may be the worst cars. Like the cars that we did on Thursday when we started off the show, those were some pretty great cars, that MFI and a bunch of really cool stuff. But from there, this show went downhill. We probably should this part of the show at the beginning of the show just to warn everyone just how awful this episode has been. So we don't apologize for that at all, though.
We are going to have a great week, though. We've got a Volkswagen thing. We've got a Singer. Are those not the two opposite ends of the performance spectrum?
We started the bar really cool low. Cars. It only gets better from here for the rest of the week on Bid Nerds, your daily nerd out on the most interesting cars of the day on all the automotive auction sites. We do this Monday through Friday at about the 9 o'clock hour Pacific time, so make sure you join us. And again, check out Guys_Custom. That's GYX_Customs.
Get yours
on the Instagram and order your bracelets. And then what else? Binge watch Porsche Road Trip on the Pluto TV app on your smart television, and then come back tomorrow and watch more of the show. Anything else you want to say before we dip out for a Monday edition of Bid Nerds?
Thanks to Super Sub Lane Skelton for covering for me last week. Love you, brother. Thank you, man.
We'll get him back on this week. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Get the word!